Good evening, everyone. Who we got here? Blame Tag, welcome. Hero, I guess you're sitting in a parking lot. That's cool that you made it. Adria, so I saw before we went live that your power went down today, the day before Thanksgiving. I know you work in a grocery store. That had to be an absolute effing nightmare. My condolences to you because that's just terrible. I can only imagine. Uh, if we got any lurkers in the chat that are here for the first time, pop in. Have something to say? Tell us. Cool stuff. Blame Tag. It's good to see you on a Wednesday night. I know typically you have to work. Are you off? That's great. Adria, I said it last episode, but you dipped out. I do want to thank you talking to Blame Tag about Substack, and in Blame Tag in turn talking to me. I'll do some writing stuff from time to time. I did the one about the coat, which is totally off topic, but most of the time I will wind up doing stuff about retail. However, as a podcast host, there has been a massive difference. So thank you, Adria, for passing the word along. And thank you, Blame Tag, for telling me what, she had said and whatnot, because the numbers have been really, really good. I don't know what they do different. I don't know. There's not a lot of maintenance to it. And, but yeah, it's booming, and, it's a great thing. And tonight, tonight's episode will go up on there as well. But this evening I'll be cooking steak as soon as we get off here, so it'll be a little delayed. Having said that, Irish, say hello to make sure everybody can hear you.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yep, everybody hear that? Yeah, Adria, I really do enjoy it, and from the writing standpoint, it's so much better than like WordPress and things like that. It's just easier. I mean, it's kind of drag and drop, and you get everything in there, and you can easily enlarge or reduce the size of photos you put and things like that. So I really do like it. And I only have like 9 subscribers, but I'm using it more as a podcast host and an outlet for me to vent about things when I want to vent as far as writing. I'm getting ready to go down the self checkout argument again, and because something Blame Tag sent me, people claiming victories. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Hadria says, was it the wind? No. Was it a squirrel on the power line? No. It was someone who crashed their car into a power pole. Yep, that's how the way that works. I will say that where I work, we're going to cross over $1 million for the week. So it's busy, man. It is busy as hell. And all the same memes come into play. The amount of people that are standing directly in front of the item that they want, and they look at you and are like, hey, can you tell me where this is? And you're like, it's right there at your shoulder. And it's like, oh. And I told Blame Tag I wanted our next parody to be the song Signs. Signs everywhere, sign, because customers can't read signs. And I think that's a perfect song to redo. Irish, I don't know if you're familiar with that song. If you're not, just look up the song Signs by Tesla. They did a version of it as well, and you'll understand what we're talking about, because it talks about how people can't read signs. All of us in retail, we probably deserve that song. So, but having said that, we're going to go ahead and get moving here. The one thing, obviously, that we can never forget is our sponsor, The Serving Times, proud sponsor of the Retail War Zone, 2023 Pulitzer Prize winner, no matter what anybody says. And it's an AI-free publication. The link to the Substack is here on the screen. It's also in the description of the video. Also, for those of you that might be new and you like what we do to spread the word, there is a printable business card that you guys can just print. It'll just be black on, black ink on white paper. You can spread it around and let people, see what we do or whatnot, drop it in your local grocery stores, drop it in your local retail establishments, Dollar Trees, all these other things. It'd be kind of cool. I really wish we could track who does this. I know that Big Quit Energy's done it a few times, which is cool, which we appreciate. And I also get a report every time that the QR code scans. So it's good stuff. Blame Tank says, Steve, I'm mad that I just thought of an idea for an article about grocery workers ruining people's Thanksgiving. You're a little behind the curve now. I guess you'll have to go ahead and write it and put it out next year. Oh, Adria says, warning, I'll be making cranberry sauce comments tonight. Okay, duly noted. So it's great. Blaine Tank says, I got to order my double-sided cards. Yep, there you go. So having said that, one thing I want to throw out there real quick. If you look directly beneath me, you see, please don't be a Karen this year. It's that time. It's that time. The link to the video is in the description of everything we do. I moved it up. It's right there at the front. Please share it. Share it with your coworkers. We're still waiting for that one individual to play it over the store PA system. That person will become legend. I don't know what we could do for that, but if somebody does that, we'll come up with something. I'll crowdfund something for whoever comes up and does this and gives us proof that it happened. Walmart would be great. That would be fantastic. So having said that, we're going to go ahead and get into our Thanksgiving shopping. Just to let you know, once we get done with this, we're going to go into some Black Friday stuff, and we're just going to talk nonsense about holiday shopping and experiences and whatnot. We're going to end the year on kind of like a fun trend. The next couple episodes we do, it's going to be kind of lighthearted, but a good time for everybody to get in the chat and have some things to say. So Irish and I had discussed, we were going to do this, and I got to give props to Hero. This was Hero's idea that, what is the price difference between Thanksgiving here versus Ireland? Now, obviously we know Ireland does not celebrate Thanksgiving. But Irish, can you give us some background as to why you do?
Well, it's straightforward enough. My wife is from Buffalo, New York, and she came all the way over here, but brought some of the traditions with her. And if we didn't celebrate Thanksgiving, it just wouldn't be the same. So, and it's something I enjoy. I've had Thanksgiving in the States and here, and we've been doing it for a long time now, and it's kind of nice actually, because unlike you guys, it's our own little thing. Like no one else does it here, so we get to have a little private kind of like celebratory day where I just like make up an excuse not to be at work and enjoy it, and kind of that's exactly why we do it.
Speaking of which, so obviously, not being a holiday that you celebrate there, but you I assume well in advance you ask for the day off.
Yeah, I mean, you see, usually it's not been no, well, it's not a problem these days because I'm the one that gives the days off. So
right.
But in the past, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like November's a terrible time to try and get days off, so I'd have to give plenty of notice. But to be honest, like it's something that we usually do in the evening time anyway. So if you do enough prep, you can kind of get away with it, even if you can't get off until the evening.
Right. Now, listen, guys, you've heard me talk about cooking steak and whatnot, and I feel like I'm a decent enough cook, but I have never cooked Thanksgiving dinner. My wife, Hero, is like the champion of that. I've never cooked a turkey. Every Thanksgiving dinner she's ever cooked has been fantastic, but we need to give Irish his flowers, because who cooks it, Irish?
I do the cooking, generally speaking. Now, my wife has done a lot of cooking as well, but I would be the main kind of cook for Christmas and Thanksgiving and that kind of thing. I don't know why. I just sort of fell into that. It wasn't a discussion we had. It's just maybe I'm just, I don't know, more assertive in the kitchen or something, and she just doesn't want to be around me when I'm cooking, which is true, by the way. I'm a cranky cook. I don't like people hanging around me.
Do you wear an apron?
Oh, of course. I've got an apron that says prick with a fork.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Real quick, Karen, howdy. Good to see you here, even if you got to drop out. Thank you for all the information you sent me today. That's great. So Irish needs props. He's cooking Thanksgiving dinner. And the amazing thing about that is, he's native to Ireland. It's not a holiday he grew up with. Yet he is doing the deal. So, in your cooking, what did your wife think about it? Did she feel like you nailed it?
Yeah, generally speaking, I mean, look, I've had a lot of practice. We're together quite a while, so, but generally speaking, it's gotten better most years. So I've got it down now, and I think, I mean, she's probably polite enough to when it comes to complimenting my cooking. Now, look, we will concede defeat here. It's nothing like, and she has said it's nothing like Southern Thanksgiving. You know, she's been partial to that as well in the past. So you guys will definitely win on that. You guys do barbecue much better than we ever could, and things like turkey. We do it well. You guys knock it out of the park, generally speaking.
Yeah, but going with the whole America thing, we've also figured out how to put turkeys in a vat of boiling oil and about damn near set an entire state on fire. So I don't know if that's smart
Yeah.
or not, but you know, it I haven't done any research, but I'm pretty sure that deep frying a turkey has to have a southern origin because there's
Sounds like
also
it. Yeah.
danger to it, and the amount of reports, like, you need to, like, after a Thanksgiving, like, look at the U.S. news and just or look, Google, like, Thanksgiving turkey fires or something. I'm sure there are plenty, because you got these guys like, oh, I can cook this turkey and we're gonna it's crazy. Every year we hear about somebody deep frying a turkey and setting their house on fire. So that's got to be pretty much a southern thing. As far as what you said about southern cooking, look, southern cooking is something all to itself. There's southern cooking, and you're looking at like Louisiana and places like that. There's Cajun cooking. There is very distinct things with it.
Mm.
And the one thing I will say about southern cooking is the southern women growing up, when they learn to cook, they can't cook for like two or three people. If you got a family of four and they were, brought up by their meemaws, as Hero put in the chat, they're cooking for like 60 people. There's no other way. They don't know how to do that any other way. They can't portion it down. It's like you're cooking for an army. And the best part about that is there's leftovers. And you can eat, for, Thanksgiving dinner, 3 or 4 days in a row. And in southern restaurants too, which is really crazy, is there's a local restaurant right next door to where I work. Every Friday, all year long, they serve turkey and dressing. I mean, it's a southern thing, definitely. Karen says, I don't cook. My family is all over the country, so eating out is what I do for Turkey Day. Yep. And Blame
Mm.
Tank says, yeah, we're getting the news stories already about not blowing up your deep fryer. See? See?
I don't know, man. Those warnings, man. It's just like, I mean, I'm happy enough. Like, just let natural selection run its course. I mean, look, for God's sake, Jesus.
Well,
You're
I get, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. But man, I would hate for, my eulogy to be, he was a
yeah.
good man, but he died trying to deep fry a turkey. I mean, there's something so romantically southern about that, but also so bad, to be honest with you. Adria says, this is true. They always cook for no less than 20 people. You have to have a deep freezer on your porch and one in the garage. Yes, you have no idea how many people I know that have deep freezers in their garage. Quite a bit, quite a bit. So, having said that, Irish sent me basically the receipt for the things he purchased. All right. And there'll be some things here that are missing that are from traditional, how you guys cook Thanksgiving dinner. Like, obviously Irish, I didn't see eggs. Do you do devil eggs?
No.
Oh, see, that's a travesty. Have you ever had deviled eggs?
I'll be honest, I don't even know what they are.
Do you like eggs?
No, generally speaking, I don't like
Okay,
eggs. I'm not
never
a big
mind.
egg.
You would not like deviled eggs. You would not like
All
it at
right.
all. But that's a delicacy as far as I'm concerned. So he sent me the receipt, and I referenced you did your shopping at Tesco, correct?
Correct.
All right. And what I did, since I work in the grocery business, I pulled all my prices from where I work. Now there may be some cheaper, but I was doing it like if I was walking into, because I would buy everything where I work because I'm there, right? So I based it on prices that we had going on. Now, there's going to be a catch to the end of all this, um, that we'll get to when we get through the list. So, Irish, as far as why your prices are a little bit higher
Hmm.
overall, we'll cover that at the end. You had
Okay.
sent me the email clarifying that, when you talked to your wife,
Hmm.
but we will leave that to the very end. And
Sure.
that is going to be quite eye opening at that point. Um, Adria says deviled eggs are amazing. Yes, they are. I love them. I could eat 12 or 13 of them and be fine. Hero says his wife may not want him to know about deviled eggs. Well, that's true too, but he doesn't like eggs in general, so he's safe. Mark's safe on this day from deviled eggs. Karen says, ha ha ha, got a bolt. Good to see you, Karen. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay safe. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, so we're going to go down the list. Um, Irish, did you convert to, or did I just do the conversion?
You must have. I just sent you the picture of the
Okay.
receipt.
All right, cool. So we're going to start with the big one, the turkey. So, Irish, you can tell me what you paid for on your receipt. I will tell them what the U.S. equivalent is.
Turkey was 25 euros.
Okay. So, 25 euros, and that was for roughly a 13-pound turkey, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, that's the center of attention for the the meal. So in America, in U.S. dollars, Irish pays $27.22 for a 13-pound turkey. Now, mind you, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving in Ireland, obviously. I'm sure that they go on sale for Christmas. Is that correct?
Hmm, not really,
Oh,
to be
really?
honest with you. No, no, no. I mean, there's a lot more of them, but no, they don't. I've never noticed a price drop towards Christmas. No.
Okay. So in Ireland, U.S. equivalent $27.22 for roughly a 13-pound turkey. Now, given the fact that we celebrate Thanksgiving here where I work, our turkey is on sale. So it's on sale for $1.08 per pound. So a 13-pound turkey for us is $14.04. And I know all of you are like, holy shit, that's a lot. But just wait, it gets better. So you can go ahead and give the disclaimer on this one too. 32-ounce loaf of bread, Irish.
All right, that was €3, but it's a special bread. It's gluten-free bread because my wife is a celiac, and if I was to buy wheat bread, she would be in hospital. So it's slightly more expensive than ordinary.
Right. Okay. So in U.S. dollars, that's 327. Um, for us, where I work, a 32-ounce loaf of bread is $2.27. Now, if you factor in the fact that it's gluten free or whatnot, there's a dollar difference there. But I can tell you where I work, the difference between gluten free and just regular is more than a dollar. Okay, so there's that. All right, next on your list was vegetable stock, which on your receipt said stock pot, and I had to email Irish, and there were a couple of things I'm like, what is this? So stock pot was vegetable stock. So your price there?
€2.80.
Okay, so converting that to U.S. dollars, $3.05. And here, the most common that's purchased is 32-ounce Swanson vegetable stock, $2.18. Next on the list is chicken stock. And I'll go ahead and say this because it was the exact same price for you on that. The chicken stock in Ireland was $3.05 US dollars. Ours, which is a 32 ounce of our store brand, was $1.50. Next is, and I had to email Irish about this, Maris Piper. Explain what that is.
That's a type of potato, um, and it was 3.89.
389. Now, I did some research. Are they like purple skinned? Is that right?
No, that would be roosters mostly. The Maris Piper are kind of blonde.
Blonde. Okay.
Yeah.
So, in researching that, after you told me what it was, I tried to look for our equivalent here in the United States, which are golden potatoes or Yukon Golds. So, his price for a 4.5 pound bag of Maris Piper potatoes is $3.15. Now, I want you guys, as we do this, keep in mind what the produce prices are, and we'll get to that at the end. However, for us, for a 5 pound bag of golden potatoes, Green Giant, $5.98. So, yes, it's a half pound more, but the price does not justify that. $5.98 for a 5 pound bag of potatoes versus $3.15 for a 4.5 pound bag of potatoes. Kind of weird. So next on the list is our favorite, who should be sponsoring this podcast, Kerrygold butter. Irish.
4.29 for a pound.
So 429 euros, and that is $4.67 in US dollars. In order for us here in the good old US of A to buy the sweet, sweet nectar of the gods at a pound of Kerrygold, $9.16. Now, as Irish has said, we were talking about it before the stream. You got import and all the other stuff. I get it. But I think it's very unfair, Irish, that you get an entire pound of that buttery goodness for $4.67 and it costs us almost $10. I just want to go on record saying that. And Hero said real quick, is turkey a common thing to eat in Ireland, though? I mean, in America, you can hunt them because they're native, but maybe they aren't in Ireland.
No, they're farmed here, and it's more of an occasional meat. It's available all year round, but generally speaking, it's a Christmas thing for the most part.
Gotcha. All right, awesome. So next on the list, and some of these things I looked up on our website verbatim per description. So we may have something that's cheaper, but I went specifically for what was listed on his receipt. And on that one, it was garlic granules. And your price, Irish?
60 cents.
Okay, so that was, I must have done something wrong because I've got 54 cents in US dollars. Maybe the exchange rate changed. But that's for 2 ounces. Whereas here, where I work, Harvest Farms organic garlic granules, which is the only thing it pulled up on our website, and it was the cheapest using the terminology garlic granules, and that was for 2.5 ounces, $1.98. So there's that. And then you had, next on your list was sage, Irish.
55 cents.
55 cents. All right, so that equates to 60 cents US dollars. That's for 5 ounces. Now, for us, the best I could find on our website was a McCormick rubbed sage, half an ounce, for $3.39. So think about this for a minute. Sage for Irish was 60 cents for half an ounce. For us, McCormick, which is a brand name which people flock to this time of year, same amount, $3.39. Insane. So next, Irish, you had onion salt. And your price?
110.
Which equates to $1.20 US dollars. And that's for 2.82 ounces. Now, for us, it's $3.18, but it was 5 ounces. So still, 2 ounces more for that kind of price jump, I don't think is really, really justified, but it is what it is. Now, this next one is mind-blowing to me. However, I understand that the availability is probably easier there, and that would be balsamic vinegar Moderna. Irish, your price?
85 cents.
Which converts to 93 cents. And what he bought was 8 8.5 ounces of balsamic vinegar. Okay? The cheapest brand we carry, 8.5 ounces, is Alessi, $2.48. So, can you give me an idea as to why you think that is, Irish?
Um, it's probably the availability. I mean, I'm guessing we're closer to a lot of places that they would make balsamic vinegar than you guys would be. It's probably similar to Kerrygold in that sense of you might have to import that kind of stuff from further away. That's about the only thing I can think of. I will give a shout out to Tesco here, by the way. Like they're by far the cheapest on this. Any other grocery store I went into, balsamic vinegar is considerably more expensive.
I mean, that's incredible to me because I know how expensive it is. I mean, when you get into other brands, I mean, we got brands. I mean, that's the cheapest. We got some for the same amount that's like $6, $7. It is like, okay, that's a little different. Now, the next one, and I'm going to err um, to the side of caution on this one because I'm almost 100% sure the quality of what he's getting is probably better than this. And this is cranberry sauce. So, your price on that, sir?
280.
All right, converted to US dollars, that is $3.05, and that's for 7.76 ounces. The cheapest that we have is 14 ounces, so double that almost for $1.50, and that is Ocean Spray. But I'm willing to bet good money that the quality is way off. Like, Ocean Spray's bottom barrel. I mean, Ocean Spray right now is cheaper than our store brand. And obviously it's on sale for, Thanksgiving. Hero brings up a good point. Is it whole cranberry, Irish, or the jellied?
Whole.
Oh, okay, whole. So that could be a little bit different process because I went on jellied. And Adria says,
We can't get that here actually.
You don't get the jellied version. You only get whole cranberry.
Well, we can't find it. We couldn't find it for a long time. So my wife did order some off a store here that does American produce, but it hasn't arrived yet. So
Okay, real quick, Hero, can you look up and see what the price of a can of whole cranberry is? Adria says, what does a bag of cranberries cost there?
oh, I mean, it obviously would depend on the size, but the fresh fruits are they're expensive enough. Hang on. If you continue on there a second, I'll look it up. Dave.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. This is for science. This is for research. We're good. Also, Adria says, I was almost assaulted over cranberry sauce today. Well, this is the week of the year where I can talk about how 2 years ago, where I work, we were out of cranberry sauce, and a customer asked our manager, where's the cranberry sauce? And they said that we were out. And the customer literally looked him straight in the face and said, but this is America. And every year I send him a text saying, Happy This is America Week. And because it was the most hilarious thing. Hero says, mostly America only allows that amount of sugar. Okay. Okay. Oh, I get that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Nobody else in the world will allow that amount of sugar in a canned cranberry sauce. And Adria says it's $2.50 all over the city today. Is that for whole, correct? Or is that for a bag of cranberries? All right. So Hero says whole cranberry sauce at where we work is $1.98 right now. So whole cranberry sauce, looking at the list, still cheaper. So we got it for $1.98. You guys are sitting at $3.05.
All right. Fresh. Sorry. See, cranberries. Now this looks like a kind of a name brand as opposed to a Tesco brand. It's coming in at €6.77 a pound. So say $7 a pound.
$7 a pound. Wow. Mrs. Blaine takes us time to reopen the jellied versus whole berry cranberry sauce debate. Yes, we can do that as we go. I don't like it either way. I'm not a cranberry sauce fan. Adria says a half-pound bag of whole cranberries Ocean Spray is what she has. Do you guys carry Ocean Spray over there, Irish?
Yeah, it's mostly in kind of fruit juice form though.
Oh, so you don't sell the Ocean Spray cranberries?
I haven't seen them. So I
Oh,
don't think
okay.
so.
That makes sense. All right, so yeah, as once again a year later, cranberry sauce problem. Conflicts, and everybody has their opinion. I don't eat either one of them. The restaurant I talked about that has turkey and dressing every Friday. Hero and I'll go to lunch and I'll be like, no cranberry sauce, and she's like, no, 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 don't tell them that. I'll eat it, and it's like jelly. Whatever. I'm just not a fan. Whatever. So the next one I had to email Irish about finger chilies. Now, first of all, explain to me what you're doing with the finger chilies.
Well, I almost regret adding them in because that is my secret sauce in my gravy. So I make gravy out of the turkey, if you like. So it's not like a powdered version. So that gives my secret recipe away. It's a little kick in the gravy. So it's basically chilies that are kind of medium strength chilies that just kind of sit in the background of the gravy, and you're wondering why it has that kick. So.
So I'm assuming the wife likes it.
Yes, she does. Gravy is probably the thing I get complimented on the most. So,
Oh, really? Wow, that's awesome because I'm a gravy fiend. You'll have to send me that recipe and we'll try that because Hero swears up and down since COVID my taste buds have changed and I'm more tolerable to spicy stuff. So maybe you have to send me that. But going on that, so looking at a comparable item here is serrano peppers, but where I work, and Hero can like chime in if she can find something different. But what we had was like a 1 pound bag of mixed serrano peppers, jalapeno peppers, and whatnot. So there's a little bit of difference in price here. Yours was $1.08 US dollars for 0.17 pounds, and ours was $2.98 for a variety pack that's a pound. So that's kind of off the table as far as comparing. But I get the idea that serrano peppers really are the equivalent to that. And we've brought this up before. We watched Sam the Cooking Guy, and he's a big, huge advocate for serrano peppers. I've never had one, and I don't think we actually sell them individually at our store. Hero, if you've got more insight into that, that'd be great. So the next one, and I need to ask you about this. So rosemary, is it like a fresh bunch out of produce?
yes, that's the one. I don't like the dried stuff. It
Right.
annoys me. So yeah,
All right. So your price for rosemary for a bunch,
rosemary. 99 cent.
all right, which equates to $1.08, just as the finger chilies, and that's for point 0.7 ounces. But it's a bunch, so I think this is comparable. A bunch of fresh rosemary is $1.98, so almost a dollar more. And then the next one is lemon lime. Now, this is a 5 pack, correct? Now, I looked at the Tesco site. It's 3 lemons and 2 limes. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay. So your price,
179.
which in U.S. dollars is a buck 95, and that's for 5. Um, if I'm not aware that we sell a 5 pack 3 and 2, but if you do the math for individuals, for that exact same thing, you're paying a buck 95 U.S. dollars. We're paying $4.40. Yeah, exactly. And Blame Tag says, my wife won't let me watch Sam the Cooking Guy. You really should watch it anyway. I'm sorry, Ms. Blame Tag. I'm not trying to put him in the doghouse, but Sam the Cooking Guy is great. Um, and Mrs. Blame Tag also says, Adria, that sounds delicious. I just don't know that it's going to tap into my childhood memories of Thanksgiving dinner the way jelly cranberry can. Oh, God, here we go. Hero says, Hatch jar chilies may be closer to $2.99. Well, I mean, that's $2.98 for a pound of mixed peppers. Um, Adria says, Mrs. Blame Tag, I get you. I grew up with the jellied version too. Still love it. Irish, here we go with the cranberry sauce debate.
It can't be stopped.
This happened last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So next was family pack carrots. So what was your price on that, Irish?
€1.09.
Okay, and if you guys are not following along too much, that's $1.19 US dollar. So there's really not a whole lot of difference price wise between euro and USD at this point. It's a few cents basically. So that's $1.19 for 2.2 pounds. For the exact same amount for carrots here, $3.96. And Blame Tag says, I don't care at all. Of course you do, because you're the king of trolls. All right, and the next are onions. And I looked at the picture on Tesco, and they look like yellow onions to me. I don't know if they are, but what was your price on onions?
129.
All right, so in U.S. dollars, it was $1.40, and that was for 2.2 pounds. For the exact same amount of onion in the United States, here where I work, $2.36. So I went through and I converted all the prices to euro. I may have messed up on what was it, the garlic granules, because I somehow I wound up with 54 cents. But going through and adding both, all right, United States here in South Carolina where I live, grand total $63.34. Ireland, for the exact same items, at the exact same weights, with the exception of the peppers, $57.43. So Ireland is cheaper. But here's the caveat. So Irish, explain the tax.
The tax is 23% now. The value added tax is 23%.
So when he sent me this receipt, to give you guys an idea, every line item, we're not talking about like here in the United States where it adds tax at the end. Every single price listed was 23%. Now explain to me or to everybody, it's law that every like tag and price and whatnot is supposed to include that, correct?
Yeah, the display price must include the tax in Ireland. Yeah.
So they're paying 23% extra for, and that goes to healthcare, right?
It goes to general purpose. Yeah.
General purpose. So what all does that 23% go to, real quick?
I suppose the running of the state. So it's a central fund for the government. So it would be health, policing, every aspect really. It's just a general fund.
So, all right, so it goes to multiple things. And Blame Tag asked real quick, do you pay taxes to King Charles?
Not for a very long time, no.
Not for a very long time. And Adrian says, Blame Tag, LOL, knocking out of the party as usual, is of course. So if you here where I live, there is no tax on anything that was on this list. All right, so with no tax right now, Irish Connection pays $57.43 in U.S. dollars. We pay $63.34. However, if you converted this completely to the United States and you took that 23% tax off, $44.22 was his Thanksgiving list. Wrap your head around that real quick, all right? We don't have free healthcare here, all right? So, we have to pay insurance or Medicaid or whatever to have insurance. That 23% tax goes to, like he said, numerous things, but also goes towards healthcare. However, I have to ask you, those of us that live here in the States, $57.43 versus $63.34 to get health care? Is that worth it? I would say so. Especially having kids. Now, Irish, there's something I want to dispel real quick on the health care. I've heard numerous people I've talked to recently about the 23% tax. Is it true there's like a wait list for like major medical procedures? Or is it is that just like a misnomer?
A weight lift? What do you mean?
I had somebody I was talking about, the difference between, like the last episode, the difference between groceries here and there, and that you guys paid 23%, and a lot of that went to healthcare and whatnot. And their argument was, oh, well, I've read there's tons of wait lists. Like you need a surgery, you've got to schedule,
Oh,
like, whatever.
yeah. The healthcare system here is under a lot of strain. There's wait lists for everything basically, so it's not ideal. The quality of the healthcare when you do get it is pretty good. Like, but like you could be waiting a very long time. So there's a two-tier system here where essentially you can have private healthcare as well. So if the wait list is very long and you can afford it, you can essentially skip the queue and go privately. But generally speaking, it is you would not want to be on the public healthcare system. It's just you'll be in the queues forever, and it's bad.
So let me ask you. So is it worth the 23% at that point?
Yeah, I think generally speaking, it is. I mean, look, our it's 23% on most things. It does vary from product to product, like, but it generally speaking is 23%. Now, I must make an embarrassing omission here. Vegetables and stuff like that, that they are actually cheaper. I'm just double checking that myself. So, but look, generally speaking, like our alcohol, for example, will be considerably more expensive tax wise, and our obviously our fuel, cigarettes, anything that's bad for you
Right.
is taxed through the nose,
And
like,
and, and that's an interesting thing because we were talking about that before the stream. Is when you look, and that's why I said pay attention to the produce prices. So it seems like, and really and truly, if you have an objective take to all this, right? The stuff that is the best for you health wise is cheaper in price. The things that are the worst for you are the most. And do you think that there's some sort of like reasoning behind that? Like it's a deterrent, to get people to steer away from the vices and the things that are, because the comparison, especially on the produce, we were looking at before the stream, how much their produce cost versus ours, and these are things that are fresh fruit and vegetables that are good for you, whereas they're really, practically speaking, are dirt cheap in Ireland and will cost you an arm or a leg here. And conversely, the last episode talking about beer
hmm
way much cheaper here than in Ireland. Cigarettes way much cheaper here than in Ireland. The things that are bad for you cost less in the United States but cost more in Ireland. Do you think that's deliberate?
it's deliberate for two reasons. The first and foremost, the reason that they give for all these vice taxes is for healthcare, because realistically, too much consumption of certain things will lead to extra pressure on the healthcare system in years to come.
Right.
So they do tax, I suppose, things that would be unhealthy for that reason. The other reason that they do it is because many of these things are, to very different degrees, bloody addictive. So if you do tax them higher, it's not going to drop the demand too much. But yeah, so there's two reasons behind it, if you like. Now, look, there is that debate of, like, personal choice versus big government and all that. Well, I don't think we should go down that road, but it is basically a choice. Do you put up with high taxes for better social services? Generally I would. Now, we have not great public services at the moment, but that's more of a how they manage it and the bureaucracy involved and stuff like that. But in theory, it should work a bit better. Um, And I suppose, like I said to you before, like the biggest one for me in the States would be the healthcare. I mean, it's not that it's not even apples to apples. You can't even compare. It's insane what you guys pay for per capita for healthcare. Like just the average individual, what you spend and what everyone listening here spends on healthcare in the United States on a monthly basis is absolutely bananas.
Okay,
It's.
so given that the people that are in the community and they normally watch this, we're used to paying X amount per week or every 2 weeks for healthcare. So I'm assuming that you have private healthcare plus the government provided, correct?
I don't. I, I don't earn enough for
Oh, okay.
private healthcare myself.
Well, can
Um,
you give us a ballpark on what the average individual pays per week or maybe per month for private
yeah,
healthcare in addition?
yeah. There's a million different types that you can, but the average one would be in dollars would be about 170 to $200 a month. Um,
Okay, that's all you need to say. So $200 a month for private insurance.
Correct, which would be substantially better than
Oh
public.
my God! So $200 a month. Now let me ask: is that individual or is that family? I got to think that's individual.
Oh, there are generally speaking, they're family plans.
Oh, holy shit! $200 a month for a family plan?
I mean, I wouldn't be overly confident of what I'm saying right now because I haven't actually purchased it and looked into it deeply. But that strikes me as about there's nobody in Ireland is going to be paying like 1,000 a month for a pad. I don't care. They'd
Exactly,
rather
and,
die
and
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 not at home.
that's the point because like when you look at that, that's probably the United States is you wind up getting a job and you have a family, and the wages aren't where they need to be, and we know that. And then all of a sudden you get your insurance paperwork, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get insurance. And then you look at it, and you're like, holy shit! If I cover everybody, I'm not making a damn thing, and because it's so expensive, and there again comes into my whole argument about how insurance is a racket because you know some of these insurance policies you run with and you pay for and you never max out, you never use for like years and years and years, especially if you're younger, and they're just milking you dry, and you get nothing out of it. But I have to think that having the opportunity to have you know, a healthcare system provided through taxes, all right, if to everybody is great. But if you're able to top up and get, you know, a plan that you pay for on top of that to make you be able to pass the queues, so to speak, that is so much more inexpensive than what we pay for family coverage here is a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, like there's like, it comes down to kind of a quality of life thing as well. Like what you kind of your preferences would be, but I think in terms of healthcare, it's a hard win for probably everyone in the Western world except you. It's just your healthcare, the way it's set up, and the prices that you're that get extorted out of you is just insane. Because I think the fear of having no insurance over there is just. It's crazy. I mean, I know like some of my wife's family have needed healthcare, obviously, and I've seen their bills and they're covered by insurance. But like if they weren't, like even things for like an ambulance trip was a couple of $1,000s. That's
Wh-
insane.
yeah, which to
That's
your point, Adria just said it best, and this is 100% true, and that this is why our healthcare system's so fucked up. Adria said insurance is 100% a racket. Yes, it is. It's almost better to have no insurance because in some states, the state will pay for the treatment if you're uninsured, but they don't want us to know that. And that's true. And it's almost like in some states you have free health care. But the downside to that is, yes, you can get your health care on some things. If it's terminal or whatnot, no, you're probably not. But basic stuff, yeah, you can get that, and they don't want you to know that, but they'll do it because you get grants and all sorts of other things. But at the end of the day, what they do is they start digging in your credit, and credit's another thing in itself. So It's crazy. And Adrian also said, I live in an area where there is an abundance of organic produce and lots of small growers, and the farmers markets are booming, so it's easy to find low cost organic produce, wine, or poultry, which is great. And then Hero said, we were talking about how the things that are bad for you, people are willing to pay more for their vices. That's true. So they can charge all those prices for the addiction. People gonna pay it no matter what.
Yeah.
And Blame Tank says, I live in Florida, Adria. You get sick and they just throw you into the Gulf. Master troll, master troll. All right, so we're sitting at 53 minutes. I want to go over a couple of other things real quick. So it's that time of year. Here we are, holiday season, quote unquote, Mariah season. You know, her bitch ass did that video. She embraced the meme of her thawing and two guys with like hair dryers and pumpkin masks de-thawed her, and she screamed, "It's time," or whatnot. So here we are. So real quick before we get out of here, I want to talk about Black Friday and holidays. And so to get into Black Friday, just to let everybody know where we're at, this was a Google search about Black Friday sales results. So everybody enjoy. CNBC. Bad news for Black Friday. Retailers cast doubt on holiday shopping with cautious guidance. Many retailers struck a cautious tone when they provided their holiday forecast during third quarter earnings reports, spelling trouble for blank, 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 blank. 6 hours ago. I pulled this 2 hours ago. So, yeah, 8 hours ago. Best Buy lower sales outlook as Black Friday looms. Amid cooling consumer demand for appliances, Best Buy saw a third quarter drop in revenue that led to the retailer to lower its annual sales. Oh, poor pitiful. From Reuters, U.S. retailers brace for a tough holiday season despite discounts. U.S. retailers across apparel, electronics, and home improvement are bracing for a challenging holiday season, a sign that higher discounts, quote unquote, aren't working. Then from Bloomberg, Best Buy sales declined ahead of Black Friday shopping. Go figure, right? Right? So, this is where the chickens come to roost. Real quick, Blame Tag says, Steve, did you catch any NRF articles? Because they swear it's going to be the biggest year ever. Actually, no. Because when I Googled that, second page, there's an NRF article talking about how they're going to be soft. And here's the thing. For those of us who've been in management and we've watched year over year numbers and whatnot, man, this has been projected for a while. You come out of the pandemic, the numbers are great because people went out to shop finally a little bit. Then the numbers are greater because more people were not afraid to go out. And then the numbers are even more greater because people aren't scared to go out. And then greedflation hits and everything goes up in price so fucking much. Everybody's like, whoa, wait a minute. The past 3 years, we can't do what we just did. And here we are. You know, for retailers out there, and a lot of them did this, and it really pisses me off because the whole concept of retail, when you look at your P&L statement from year to year, the ideal gain is 10 up. And what 10 up means is you want to be up 10% over last year. No one took into account really the pandemic and that flat line where nobody bought shit. So, of course, it's going to increase year over year. And you're going up against numbers of a society that didn't go shop for almost a year. And then the next year, they were scared to go shop. And they got out a little bit more. And then the next year, they were a little bit less scared. And the numbers went up. We've hit that apex in what they're going to hit. Retail is going to be a bloodbath fourth quarter. I'm calling it right now. The projections are not going to be good. When Walmart, going into Q4, tells their investors, hold up, it might not be so good. There's your sign, so to speak. This Q4 in retail is going to be a bloodbath. The NRF is going to try to paint it, however, they're going to blame it on theft. They're going to blame it on all sorts of things. The reality is these companies didn't adjust for falsely inflated numbers from a society that was suppressed for the better part of 2 years. And that's where we're at. So, Irish, what kind of things are you seeing over there as far as retailers advertising and trying to bump stuff up? Is there any kind of like economic news over there talking about how sales are going to be soft this year?
No, not as of yet. I mean, they're really trying to push things like Black Friday, which never really caught on here. You know, it's you know, it's just not it's not part of the kind of retail landscape as much as it was for you. But you know, generally speaking, they're talking about just things kind of leveling off. Like they're not talking about like, you know, a huge recession or huge profits or anything like that. It you know, disposable income is down here because like, you know, everyone's been squeezed with the inflation for the last number of years.
Right.
So I don't think any retailer's expecting a huge amount of you know, bumper sales.
You're right. And that's a huge thing. You know, you're talking about, you know, what people are expecting. Now, looking at the chat, you got Adria saying always blaming retail theft and workers' wages. Correct. That is true. Blame Tyke says just Googled. Looks like some sites are already blaming organized retail theft for bad holiday sales. Blame Tag also said we got an email this week about making sure all the sales staff are cash register trained. That means they're cutting back from cashiers fourth quarter and using the sales staff to cover. Correct. And the Adri says they're going to resuscitate that old chestnut customer theft at self checkout. Yes, they are. Now, here's the thing, real quick. You know, they are using self checkout as a scapegoat these days. However, Walmart really is doing more to dispel that than most people think. If you go to TikTok, there are Walmart people in there talking about the systems they have in place and how you're not getting out. You're going to, you know, you're going to get caught at Walmart. I'm just telling you. And you know, they're going to use every excuse in the book as to why sales are soft. But if you're a numbers person and you understand how the business works, I can promise you that long-term store managers that are out there right now are pissed off at the world because they understand the logistics of business. They understand what happened during COVID, and they know that second year after COVID, when the numbers were off the charts, they would never hit those ever again because that was 2 years of pent-up people not going shopping. But these people's bonuses, these people's salaries, these people's job security are going to reside on that. I mean, it's insane, and they know it. The managers in the field know that shit. The managers that are running these stores understand they are going up against numbers that are absolutely impossible because at some point things plateau. But because everything's Wall Street driven and investor driven, you have companies saying, oh, we're going to do so great. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, shit, we were wrong. We're not going to do so great. And they start telling the investors, yeah, we kind of misforecast a little bit. And guess what happens? Shit rolls downhill. It comes to the stores. They're told to reduce staff. They're told to lay people off. Like Blame Tag said, you got people running running registers that shouldn't be because they should be doing other things because they're cutting staff. This is where we're at. And, you know, the COVID backlash in retail isn't even here yet. This year's going to be the start. Next year, 2024, is going to be when the retail bottom drops out because you had all these bean counters thinking that, oh, the expectation is you are 10 up year over year. we're not going to take into consideration why there was this huge spike. We just expect you to do more and do more with less, which is a problem. And Blame Tech says, Steve, you got to talk some shit about John Oliver stealing your shit before signing off. Okay. So, on Blue Sky, which I recommend everybody go, versus Twitter, I've got 5 invite codes right now that I haven't used. If you want an invite code, message me and let me know. I'll send you one. I was telling Irish the beauty about Blue Sky is basically your feed is filled with people you follow. It's not filled with a bunch of nonsense. If you followed somebody, you're going to get their feeds and feeds that feed off of that. So there is that to think about. But it's not like Twitter/X where you're going to get a bunch of nonsense. You can it seems to be a lot more the ability to dictate what you see and what you cannot see is kind of nicer there. So if you want a code and you haven't got one, let me know. Blame Take says he's got like 6 or 7. Adria says go to Blue Sky. I'm there. But anyway, as far as what Blame Take's talking about, Karen tagged Blame Tag and I. John Oliver did an entire thing on dollar stores. And other than the comedy and the British accent, I thought I was watching a Retail Warzone episode. No shit. And I watched it when I was tagged in it, and I know it's kind of funny to be like, haha, John Oliver is covering dollar stores. That's great. And I'm like, where the fuck have y'all been? Because we've been doing this for 2 fucking years now. And I made the comment, I'm like, well, shit, I guess we should have used a British accent to cover it. And Blame Take is like, well, it wouldn't have hurt. But, yeah, John Oliver, that's great. I don't know who writes your shit. I don't know, where you came up with that. I mean, the fact that John Oliver decided to all of a sudden talk about dollar stores had to come from somewhere. I don't know. But, fuckers, we've been doing this for what? Almost 3 years now. And I've had, Blame Tag, 5, 6, maybe 7 different episodes about dollar stores? I'm glad John Oliver is popular and whatnot. Man, we've been talking about this shit for years. So, Blame Tag done got me fucking fired up, and that's just not right. So, Irish, do you have something nice to say?
Well, I hope everyone has a pleasant Thanksgiving. I know, given that we're speaking to largely retail workers, it's probably going to be unpleasant for the time that you're in the stores. But, it is... unfortunately for you guys, for me it'll be much more pleasant because I don't have to deal with the rat race that is Thanksgiving shopping here. But look, it's been an interesting episode. I do think we've only scratched the surface here. Like we'll probably have to look at in a little more detail in another episode sometime in a few months of exactly why it is that in your country, which is plentiful and vast and has more than enough arable land, how your groceries are more expensive, especially for things like citrus. Doesn't make any sense. I mean,
yeah, we grew up on the West Coast and Florida.
Yeah, it's strange, but there might be some reasoning behind it that we haven't really. I mean, this is a lighthearted episode. We're not delving deep into the details here, but it's just interesting that other than turkey, it seems to be a bit cheaper here.
Yeah,
it's strange.
Yeah, and maybe the citrus problem is because we make so much money exporting it, they decide to gouge people that live here when we make it. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Possible, I don't know, but and Black Friday in general, that's another thing. It's not really a thing here. I mean, it's in all the advertisements, but it's just it hasn't taken off in the same way as it had in the States. That's another thing. It's like that. What was it? The Santa Claus movie? Like when they try and invent a Christmas 2. It's just another marketing ploy. It's
right.
but there's some interesting things here. I like the lighthearted episodes, and now and again we have to delve into the more serious stuff, and we're touching on it tonight, but we'll have to maybe revisit this at a different time in more detail.
Yeah, exactly. Adria, are you following me on Blue Sky? If not, it's at Retail War. It's I think at the Retail War Zone. Also, like I said, once again, spread the Christmas song. Link is in the description. Blame tag, you got me all fired up about this Dollar Tree shit. Thanks. I'm mad now. So now Hero has to deal with me fuming, stomping around the house, pissed off because I got scooped. But we do. That's something I want to throw out there real quick. We do get scooped. It's amazing. Blame tag gets scooped a lot, especially with the Ron DeSantis shit, and it's just funny. It's very atypical of society. You take somebody else's work and you skim off of it, and it just is what it is. But fine, whatever. I'm not really going to stomp out around Hero. I'm going to go make steaks, and that makes me happy. Also, too, if you haven't subscribed to me on Substack, please do. I have some cool stuff there. You can go read about my coat, which everybody's sick of hearing about, but it's a great story. It's fun. What? Hold up. Blame tag says, Steve, I got recognized on Reddit. For what?
Oh, that's right.
What did you get recognized for?
He got
Hurry
doxxed.
Up. What? What, Irish?
He got doxxed by a friend of ours, though. It wasn't a bad thing. Yeah.
Oh, by a friend of ours?
Yes, yes. I'm gonna
Give me a reference that I may know that nobody else will.
Oh,
does it have to do with unions?
No, it has to do. Let's see now. Let's see if Blame Tag just chimes in here if he's all right to talk about it. Kroger is a hint there.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. But it was positive. He was asked for his autograph. It's.
Oh, some guy was it runs with razor was. Some guy was like, "Are you Matt Starr?" I know who that. It wasn't Erica, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah. I'm. There's nothing controversial about it. I'm not sure if.
Yeah.
Well, if the people involved want to talk about it, but it's Blame tag. In fairness, he's cleaned up Reddit a bit. Actually, he's helped me a lot there.
I'm glad that he's a part of that nonsense over there, and I hate Reddit for the fact that it's so elitist. And look, if you want to see elitist bullshit at Reddit, I don't care if you follow the subject or not. Go spend a day in r/UFOs. Go there. You'll know all you need to know about Reddit there. Blame Nick says, LOL, if was a justice for Evan guy, but not someone who's been on. Okay. Adrian says, did everyone see my article on Kergulate? Yes. Hero says, go off air. Steve is bad at guessing games. Yep, that too. So having said that, everybody have a great night. And also, every one of you, have a great Thanksgiving. I'll be working. I'm working 12 to 8. It's great. Whatever. This is what we do. But have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with your family. And we'll see you next week. Irish, you have any closing comments?
No, not really. Have a good Thanksgiving, everyone, and enjoy cranberry sauce or don't. It's whatever your preference is.
Amen. Cranberry sauce sucks. Everybody have a good night.